what's Missin Curfew? It's when you kind of play guilty, but you show up.
How nice is a green light on the road, though? No practice tomorrow, no plane, just go.
Scotty Upshaw in the clear, and he scores! Right in front, scores!
A few laughs, a little bit of fun, and obviously a lot of hockey talk.
You're listening to Missin Curfew.
Fellas, coming to you from Hall Pass Media in Newport Beach, this is Missin Curfew. Fellas, how we doing? In the booth, we got Kyle Morgan and a new member of the Missin Curfew team. My boy Max Pickup is back there. Max is going to be joining the squad, helping out with everything here at Missin Curfew, because that's how it works here. You just grab a hold of something and fucking get involved. Princy from Cowtown and our boy Jay Swish coming to you from Scottsdale, Arizona. Jay Swish, how you doing, fella?
Fellas, what up, baby? Good to see you, boys. Good to see all of your chins. I'm back, baby, by popular demand. That is self-proclaimed, obviously. But no, man, just checking in from Scottsdale. Obviously, a big weekend over here. We had the UFC fights. Obes, you got me set up nicely at the DK Sports Bet at the old DK Sports Book over there in Scottsdale, right next to TPC. That place is crispy. But it's always funny, Obes, on fight night when you're just hanging around those places, hanging around a bar. It always kind of brings in the Buffalo Wild Wings like crowd, right? You get in there, there's a lot of calf tattoos, back tattoos, a lot of piercings, and a lot of guys that probably go to the gym, and when they work out, they're only strictly doing upper body. Those guys in the gym, they're wearing sweatpants, and they're doing 50 sets of curls when they're in there. So it was always good to get into a fight night. I was hanging out with the Heat Daddy over there. Obes, one thing though, not National League, but a National League spot. People were funneling so much whiskey, they ran out of the one cube. So I had to go to the ices, the cube. They didn't have the one rock. That's tough when you got the old Johnny Walker or you got the Buffalo Trace sitting on it. It's not perfect, eh?
No, it's not. And the reason is because when you have that one ice cube, as we all know, they're just sliding down, right, Swish? They're just sliding down. And then you're so used to that nice cube. And I don't know what it is, but when they go to the old cube crushed ice and they get there and you just take it, it's just not the same. You're right. You're just like,
it's like you say, it's just not National League. But I was sitting there. Obviously, some of the fights were they were a little underwhelming. I think the main card was similar in that fashion too, with a lot of the money being on our guy, Sugar Shane, especially out of Arizona over here. Tough news there. But on the positive note, I thought we were going to miss the guy, and this is the reason why I'm rocking the Foot Locker referee jersey tonight.
I was going to
touch on Herb Dean. And I wanted to give some love to UFC official, the official of the year, Herbert Dean. Now, he's the only referee I trust outside of a Foot Locker, let's put it that way. And I tweeted out after the fight, and I said, it was on Monday, actually, it was yesterday, and I said, I want Herb Dean to officiate my future wedding, because if Herb sees something he doesn't like, immediately step in and call that thing off. That's how much I trust Herb Dean's eye.
Yeah. Well, didn't you told us that you had a wedding, paid for the whole thing, and then didn't get married, right? So you've already had kind of a one little dry rehearsal, so to speak, that you just said, hey, listen, I'm not doing it. Keep the money. I'm out of here, right?
I always tell the boys, I don't want to get too far into the weeds of that, but I always tell the boys, if you need a ring guy, I got that. And if you need a quote for a wedding venue, I can get you one too, because I paid for one and I haven't gone to it. So, that's like I said, going back to Herb Dean, I mean, that guy, just unbelievable. The way his composure in the ring, he only showed up for the primetime fight, and, you were there, boots on the ground, sitting at the Sphere. How was the atmosphere in there? Because it looked electric, my friend.
Yeah, the Sphere's a cool place, and I wanted to touch on your referee jersey. The first thing I thought of is the movie Semi-Pro with Father Pat, when he's like, we don't even have corn dogs. He's like, corn dogs. For all these people, Jackie, we don't even have corn dogs. And he's like, fuck you, Father Pat. I'll burn your house down.
So, how about the announcer in Semi-Pro when Dick Pepperfield's sitting there? He's looking at him and goes, Dick, can you put your cigarette out? I like to smoke when I drink.
Yeah.
He's announcing the game over there in Flint, Michigan. What an all-time movie that is. Corn dogs, Jackie. Corn dogs. For all these people.
We don't even have corn dogs. It's one of my favorite lines. And when we brought you in and I saw that, I was like, oh, Jay Swish, that's so great. I do want to talk to you about the Sphere. Real quick, let's go Princy. Princy, happy birthday, fella. Last picture I saw of you had a Stampeders fucking hoodie on, and you were slugging what I could only imagine was a blue light. But, how deep did you take it? And fucking, what are those Stampeder game all about?
Well, they're kind of on a slide right now, so you're going there just to drink.
Yeah.
You're going there just to drink, so that was the plan. I got a great tailgate set up there, the same crew that I've been doing the same tailgate with for the past 10 years, so
Wow.
We kept the party going in the lot after the game. The game wasn't so great, so I ended up in the lot till 1, 2 in the morning. I'm thinking, where are all the cars? Like, what's going on here? And the next thing I do, I had to check my surroundings and realize that I was the only one here left. So yeah, it was a good time. I appreciate the messages to everybody on Missin Curfew that reached out. Obe sent a nice video there, so it was a good birthday, man.
Yeah, so the video I sent out, I had a lot of people be like, how drunk are you in that video? I'm like, dude, it was fucking 9:30 in the morning. If anything, I was just a little, trying to shake the cobwebs out. Just had my morning latte, but I had people be like, how fucking drunk were you posting that picture? I'm like, it was fucking 9 in the morning. I wasn't drunk at all, boys. It's just, clearing the sleep out of my eyes, just trying to get Princy a little happy birthday. But the boys thought I was tuned up for that, Princy.
I know. I saw the comments too. There's more people commenting on how drunk you are, your flat brim hat, than my actual birthday.
I take a lot of heat for the flat brim hat, but like I tell the fellas, I'm not changing. I'm keeping the flat brim rocking. But a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, love you, buddy," but that flat brim hat's got to go. And I disagree with them, Princy. I think I got to keep that baby rocking.
If that's your look, then roll with it, man. Sometimes you got to listen to the fans. Sometimes you got to listen to your heart. But if that's all you want to do, keep rolling with it.
Hey, so when it comes to beers, are they cheaper at a Stampeders game than a Flames game? They got to be, right? Are they the same price for a pint at a CFL game?
No, they're the same because they're owned by the same company, so they're all the same. But the difference between a Flames game and a Stampeders game is the Flames game. You realistically you could, but Stampeders game you can just book it right to the parking lot anytime during the game, and they just give you a little pass. You can go in and out, in and out, in and out. So that's what guys do.
So you're telling me the parking lot. It's not like the Saddle Dome when I got to take a piss that I got to wait in this line of 400 people or try to get down to the Flames alumni suite to take a piss. If I'm at a Stampeders game, I can just go piss in the closest tree that's like not obviously in the middle of the parking lot in front of everyone.
Oh no, yeah, the parking lot's set up. They got outhouses spread out all over the parking lot. They take a lot of pride in their tailgating, so it's a good time. I mean, hopefully one day we'll be able to line it up.
Hey, so what? Like you bring the beers, who brings the food? Like what were you banging down there? A bowl of chili and some hot dogs, or what were you banging down?
I mean, it's kind of different every week. I think we did burgers this past game, but you usually have your main guy. Your main guy's the guy that brings the truck, brings the barbecue, brings the smoker. If it's a little windy, a little cold, you pop up the tent. It's tailgating, man. It's no different than the NFL. Yeah. So you show up with your food, then one guy supplies the liquor. You want to supply your own. Cigars are flowing. It's just a good time, man. This Friday, we got the Saskatchewan Rough Riders coming into town. So, and I know Jay Swish, if we talk CFL, Jay Swish is a Riders fan, apparently.
Liquor in the rear, eh? Jay Swish, liquor in the rear.
Yeah, I got my Riders jersey 24 Pilsner in my closet right now. I was actually thinking about wearing it, but I was checking their schedule and I was seeing that they're going to have their Stampeders up here next week. So I might save it for next week. But, Princy, I wanted to ask you, do those Stampeders, at their stadium, are they the same pipes they have on those Dome Foam beers over at the Dome in Calgary? Because you have two of those, you're like, Jesus, did I get roofied? What the fuck was in this thing? Like, those beers at the Dome are insane, man. Like, you walk out of there, I think I almost had to get wheelchaired out of there when we had our live show up there last year. It was insane. I was full Paul Pierce in the wheelchair.
The funny thing is I was there with you at Cowboys before, and I'm like, oh, man, these guys have no idea what they're walking into.
No.
I think that it's different at the Saddle Dome because apparently it's because the beer lines, like, I don't know, if they haven't really been clean. And they're so long that you're just getting this concoction of beers and whatever's going through there. So it's not quite the same at McMahon Stadium. The football atmosphere is more canned. So, no, you're definitely getting spiked when you go to the Saddle Dome.
I was going to say, because I walked out of there with my beer, and I swear to God, I had a piece of Lanny McDonald's Duster, this mustache, in my beer. Like, these things haven't been clean since '89.
No,
like,
that place is greasy, bro. Greasy. Even the dressing room, and they redid the dressing room for us after the flood, and I was still like, they just repainted this bad boy and put new carpet in there, and it's still, and it's like still a little greasy down there. The Saddle Dome is as greasy as it gets. I'm telling you, like, I went there for the Battle of Alberta with Princy. Like I said, the lineup for the piss are not great. It was just not the best experience, I'm not going to lie. It's time for a new barn, thank God.
It is time for a new barn, and I keep saying it that we've got 3 years left. There will be one more Missin Curfew appearance in the Saddle Dome before it goes down.
There will, yeah. The last game when they missed the playoffs, game 82, we'll go up there. We'll go up there for
82.
When they in 3 years when they missed the playoffs again, we'll go up there for game 82 and Weeksy and see Hubie. Poor Hubie will just be like, wow, I'm still fucking here. I can't believe I'm still fucking here.
They'll burn that place to the ground in honor.
Yeah. Well, Princy, happy birthday, fellow. Jay Swish. Yeah, shout out to the girls at DraftKings. Ashley hooked it up. They're unbelievable. So way to go there and represent Missin Curfew, buddy. It looked like a time. I saw a couple other of your social media clips throughout the weekend working on the serve, huh? Getting that serve in there. Was that the first serve you were working on, or is that the second serve? Just trying to slice it in there, maybe hit that triangle on the back left of the service line.
Yeah, so I've taken up tennis probably in the last 6, 7, 8 months now, pretty seriously, to the point where I hired a coach. I said, you know what, I gotta stop throwing muffins on the court here, especially getting these serves in, working on my weight transfer. So what you saw in that clip when I was looking like a young Pistol Pete Sampras, I was working on my right to left transfer, and it's all about the throw up, right? All about getting that throw in the right area and then coming across your body and really launching your hips through it. Kind of like golf a little bit, but yeah, it's still a work in progress. I'm still working on my game. But, Obes, you bet your ass, I'm a fucking student of the game. So that was me just, clearing the hips, like late night, clearing the hips, just kind of getting through the ball, trying to get down and really, just attack that thing.
Yeah, I like the tarp off. Now, obviously in the desert still it's probably cooking around 100. But you seem to me that you have a little bit of maybe the up dog in you where, like, if you go out and get fucking pinned, you're up the next day, getting her going, getting some tennis in, getting moving. Like, you seem like you kind of roll like that. Like, put it in you, get good and pinned, and the next day get it out of you.
I mean, you know what they say, Opes, motion is lotion, right, baby? You got to stay active. You got to stay, greased up at night. And then you got to be able to get up. If you're going to hoot with the Owls, you got to be able to get up with the Eagles and soar, baby. So I like to sweat the piss out, as I call it. Just get up, get that first leak, get moving. And then if I have to take a nap a little bit later, I'll get that nap in, a little pregame nap if we're wrapping it back around. But yeah, man, I like to get up, get a sweat in, whether it's hot yoga, tennis, golf, just, like I said, baby, motion is lotion.
So this is why you're all horned up about the pickleball challenge that I put out to you in the Heat Daddy. You're a tennis player, so you're all horned up.
Yeah,
so you think that's going
to me, especially 2-on-2 pickleball, I just call it slap dick. You sit at the net and you sit outside the kitchen and you just slap the nugget at each other. It's like, what are we doing here? Let's work the court a little bit. Let's have a sweat. Let's get our footwork a little bit dialed in. To me, 2-on-2 pickleball is an activity for senior citizens and not real athletes. Oops, I don't know if that's a chirp, but you take that as you will.
I can take it. And listen, I haven't played pickleball. I haven't played all summer. I actually think my boys I think I might have got cut out of the pickleball game, Swish. I think my boy Brian Gilbert-Gale and Thomas J. Doherty slid me on the waiver wire, and I think I must have cleared. I think I must have cleared because
you clear.
I think I cleared. So, I got to find a game again. There's a game on Tuesdays at Big Canyon that is a National League game that I was kind of the American League guy if they needed a guy. They haven't needed a guy in a while. But listen, my game's not great. I haven't been playing. I will say this. Whenever we get this 2-on-2 game that we're going to vlog, I now know what vlogging is thanks to Swish and Princy. I know what vlogging is now. I'm going to tell you, fella, you're in good shape. You're younger than us. You still look like a National Leaguer. You're going to have a good sweat going by the end. When we get her humming around and you get a feel of it and we start fucking snapping it and we're moving quick, there's not much time in between points. Like, we're on the 1, 10-8. We're on the 1, boom. We're on the 2, boom. And we get going. I think after when we sit down for an adult beverage at Big Canyon or wherever we do it, if we do it in Scottsdale, you will look to me, maybe have a blue light. You'll be like, fuck, Obes. You know what? That was a good little workout. It's not. Now, listen, it's not tennis. There's no one saying it is tennis. But you can make it as hard as you kind of want it to be. But I love when people chirp pickleball. I remember there's a video. This is probably a year ago now, Swish. The guy's like, this is how you play pickleball. You come in, you get here, you move your leg, and you walk out the fucking door and play a real sport. You walk out the door and play a real sport.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I haven't played a ton of 2-on-2 Obes. Honestly, I played 1-on-1, and I was just getting so frustrated because the guy I was playing was a pretty good player, and he was playing. It's just so much net play. Where in tennis, I like to work the baseline, work my forehand, a little top spin, a little jizz on that ball, as I call it.
Yeah.
Pickleball, it's kind of more at the net, a little bit in the kitchen. I just don't like when I get planted. I want to move, right? Like I said, I'm like a young Pistol Pete out there.
Yeah, and singles pickleball is tough, man. I mean, I don't even play singles. I'm just, I'm too old, too fat for that stuff. But hey, listen, I appreciate the tennis content. I'm no fucking Johnny McEnroe, but your serve looked like it was getting better. I would say stay with it, fella. Stay with it. And, I think the key is having that spicy second serve, right? If you lean on the first serve, you got to have that little spinner that you can just keep me honest there and, get him off his... From the U.S. Open, I noticed a lot of these guys, they got that good second serve that's just spinny. Au jus all over it, man.
Yeah, au jus, I call it Johnny Sin sauce, if you know what I mean. You can read between the lines on that one. It's a lot of just top spin, a lot of cut, like something that's going to make you just kind of just have to get it and just work it over the net where you can't just come and just blast it in my face.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you just bunt that second serve over, you play against a good tennis player, and they're just going to rip it down your throat, right? Like, you don't stand a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be just going out there and throwing in a little Mike Bunning. You know what I mean? You got to keep it low to the net, keep it spinny, something that's going to have to create a little bit of a harder return, especially on a muffin like I have him for a second serve.
Mike Bunting, that's great.
Mike Bunting.
Shout out to a girl by the name of Sarah Sabota. She played tennis at school. And this was during COVID. We were actually in your neck of the woods. We were renting a place in Scottsdale, and somebody else had another house in Scottsdale that had a tennis court. And I was out there snapping around with Matt Gall, and I'm not a very good tennis player, but, National League, I got decent hands. Dude, she started working it, like serving it and forehanding and backhanding it. It was a completely different level. Like, and she was just a collegiate tennis player. So, like, how good these girls are at tennis, is crazy, man. Because when she started putting some heat on it, I just couldn't handle it. It was just overpowering or so much spin, and she was just painting the baseline or dropping it on me. I was like, wow, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, there's no way we could return, especially the men's serves. If you're looking at, different guys. I mean, that Isner used to serve at like almost 155 miles an hour, let alone even try to get something back from like Sabalenka or Coco Gauff. There's no way. They're so goddamn good.
I'd like to get something back from Sabalenka, but it's not her serve. I'd like to get something. I'd like to get something
like
back.
we talked about last week.
I'd like to get
sign you up.
Yeah,
giving you whatever you need.
Yeah, I'd like to get something from her, but a tennis lesson isn't that, Jay Swish. But Swish, you mentioned the Sphere. I was lucky enough. Shout out to my boy Billy Quinn. Jay Swish, you will meet this guy over the course of this season. Ultimate glue guy, Billy Quinn. I mean, he brought his boys, Glenny and Casal, his high school buddies, his son Jack, who's an absolute beauty. His buddy Damon, who was a UFC fighter, and then brought his buddy's kids in for a bachelor party. So he brought all these guys on his plane, took care of all the tickets. So Billy Quinn, you are the ultimate glue guy / team guy. Throughout the rundown, I'm going to get into the event of getting some guys a blue light and some milk cart and stuff. But listen, the Sphere is unbelievable, Jay Swish. I will say this. It's cold in there. And I think the reason it's so cold is because, for the most part, it's conscious, right? So they know people are going to be going to this venue, probably on some microdose mushrooms or a weed gummy or something. Because you could have fucking hung meat in there. It was so fucking cold. So if you go to the Sphere, make sure you bring a little sweater or a little hoodie or something, because it isn't cold there. But it's super cool. You walk in there and you almost feel like, this is stretching it out, and I've never been on one of these, but like it's almost like you're on a spaceship or something, like Space Mountain at Disneyland. Like, you just go in there, it's super futuristic, no cash at all fucking credit card, but super cool. Dana White pulled it off, but the Sphere, you got to go check it out, Swish. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we were talking before the show, even just getting to the Eagles are doing a little bit of a stay in Vegas at the Sphere. Hey, Obes, I wanted to touch on that, though. You're walking around grabbing beers, a lot of stiff nipples, eh? You're walking around like Jesus,
Yeah.
Holy stiff nips.
And I'll tell you what, you want to talk...
that cold, eh?
Yeah, you want to talk about... it is that cold. And there were a couple they could cut glass with those babies, Swish.
Was it like a sensory overload in terms of all the shit going on? Were you okay with, all the effects, the lights, and different things like that, while trying to still tune into the fight on the octagon?
Yeah, great question. And I would say, if you're going to go to a concert at the Sphere, the higher up you go is almost better if you want the full... experience of the Sphere and the screen being like right there, because we were in the 200 sections, so we could see down to the ring pretty good. So when they were standing up, Jay Swish, when they were throwing them, I would watch the octagon, and then when they started wrestling, which was the whole co-main event, main event, I would go right to the screen. And Jay Swish, this screen was like, booyah, right there. Like, I was just sitting there like, almost like, wow, this is too much, right? So
yeah,
I would say if you're going to go there, you don't want to be down low. The higher up you go, the better for the Sphere experience. And I couldn't imagine seeing a concert there, dude. Like, it is just, the seats shake, and it's just like, it's got to be a next level experience. The fight was awesome. It's a one and done for sure. Dana White will never do it again. But the Sphere overall, I can't wait to see a concert there, bro.
Yeah, it looked nasty. And as you know, one of the best walkouts, I think, even in fighting or baseball, is that O'Malley superstar walkout. Like, were you 6 to midnight when you saw that? I don't know if you want to touch on that right now. When I see that come on, I'm like, holy fucks, it's lefts, rights, fucking hard, and a good chin. Let's rock, baby.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And the best thing about it was definitely the entrances for the fighters. And O'Malley's superstar was fucking insane, Swish. It was, and he took his time getting down there, as he should, and enjoyed every single second of it. And it was next level. That, to me, was probably the coolest thing, I think, if you did ask the fighters. But those walkouts, they must have been unreal. Because as a spectator, that was probably the sickest part. Like, they had... all their graphics on there, and it's so loud in there, Swish. Like, the speakers, that's one thing that was way better than T-Mobile. I love T-Mobile, but the speakers in this place were fucking rocking, and these fighters would come out with all these sick graphics, And these guys were charged up. And we're going to get into the Mexican fighters, how well they did. But yeah, man, I think the coolest part and Superstar by far was the best one, man. When O'Malley came out, I was like, this guy's going to knock him out. Didn't work out, but it was probably the sickest part of the whole event.
It looks so nasty, and that walkout, like I said, it's unbelievable. You get goosebumps, even just seeing it on TV. You're like, holy fuck, this guy's ready to fuck.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. So Dana White, congratulations. We're going to get back to that when we give this guy a blue light. On our intro here, Jay Swish, this guy, look at he's dipping into the rundown. He's talking Happy Gilmore 2 here, which I'm so fired up for. I know you are, Swish. And I saw you talking about this on your other podcast, Live in 5. All-time top 5 Adam Sandler movies. Wow. I mean, you go ahead here. I'm still going through my list. It's hard to pick, but this guy, I mean, through the 90s and early 2000s, he was making banger after banger.
Happy Madison production, Obes. The guy didn't miss from that stretch run of 94, 95 to the mid-2000s even. I mean, there's so many classics in terms of the movies he was putting out. And it's really hard to kind of formulate a top 5 if you're being honest. And I think everyone's top 5 probably looks a little bit different. And now a lot of those same movies would be in there. But for me to start at the top, Obes, and I don't know if it is a unpopular or maybe a less popular number one or a take in terms of the Sandman's number one. But for me, man, Big Daddy is all time. I just love that movie. I love Rob Schneider as a delivery guy. Just the quotes in there too with, Sonny Koufax. And just like the one quote I love is when Vanessa starts dating that older guy, Sid, and he's like, he has a 5-year plan.
Yeah, what's that?
Koufax is
what's
just
that?
like, what is it? Don't die?
He's got old balls. He's got old balls. That's gross.
And like the scene of Koufax sitting at the playground with all the kids talking about Yoo-hoo. You know what else is good? A little bit of Yoo-hoo, especially with a little bit of rum. The little kid goes, Rumpelstiltskin? He goes, Rumpelstiltskin's a good man. So are you. Stay clean. Stay focused. Stay strong. Frankenstein. Have fun with your friends. It's just like unbelievable.
Dude,
like,
that was so
he's talking a bunch of 5-year-olds.
That was
unreal.
That was right on point too. That's exactly how he delivered it. Fuck, there might be an acting in your future here. But I'm with you. I love Big Daddy and Robert. What's his name? Rob
Schneider.
Yeah, he's like, oh, what? Would you prefer spaghetti and meatball?
Yeah.
Like his character in it is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
He's reading the book to Julian. They're sitting on the couch and they're talking about George Washington, and Rob Schneider's reading the book as a delivery guy. Goes, his teeth were made of wool. And Koufax looks at me and goes, no, wood. He goes, wool.
Yeah. How about when he's doing the spelling bee with the kid? He's like, you give him all the easy ones. You give him all the easy ones. Or the reading thing or whatever he's doing. He's like, you give him all the easy ones.
When you come to my restaurant, never order BLT.
Yeah.
So it's all time. So that's my number one, Obes. And
that's your number one.
Happy Gilmore. 3, I had Deeds. 4, I had Longest Yard. And then 5, I had Billy Madison. And then honorable mention for me was 50 First Dates because that's unbelievable. Wow. We could quote these movies all day. I just wanted to hear your top 5 too, brother.
Dude, I love 50 First Dates. Great
so
movie.
Good.
Rob Schneider's character in that is unbelievable too. When he gets bit by the shark, he's like, hey, bro, how'd you get that big scar? Oh, I got bit by a shark. Go smoke another one, bro. Okay, listen, Jay Swish, this is hard for me, dude. But what I got here, I got number 1, I got The Wedding Singer. I mean, wow. It's just, that movie is just so, I mean, I love it. Every time I'm on a bird and I have the option of Wedding Singer, I typically watch it again. Now, this is where it got really hard for me. 2, I'm going to go Billy Madison. Back to school to show my dad I'm not a fool. Then I'm going Happy Gilmore.
Yep.
Then I'm going Big Daddy. And then I'm finishing with Mr. Deeds. I'm going Deedsy. But listen, bro, I love The Longest Yard, too. That movie is unbelievable. You also said an honorable mention that That's My Boy.
Yep.
I thought Adam Sandler was great in that one, too. The one on your list here that I actually heard Rogan talking about it when he had Sandler on probably a month ago. I've never seen Little Nicky. And Joe Rogan told him that he thought he should have made another one. Have you seen Little Nicky? Was it any good? Because Rogan seemed to love it.
I think we're going to have to either have Princy step in or the people decide, because I've only seen that one maybe 1 or 2 times. Like if I'm going back to Adam Sandler movie, I'm going to the ones we've kind of previously talked about. I mean, Longest Yard, I had it at 4, but that's probably honestly the movie I've seen the most. Just the characters in there, like Tracy Morgan as a jail cheerleader with a crop top on.
Yeah.
Then takes the screws to Brucey in the laundry room, and then they roll the tape and they show him. Brucey's like, I was showing her a wrestling. That's all. Yeah, really funny.
Hey, if you watch that scene, watch the reaction of everyone else laughing at the video. Like the acting that takes place in that when these guys are laughing, they're falling off their chairs. I mean, that scene is fucking flawless and unbelievable.
Yes, and just like when Paul Crew, Adam Sandler gets pulled over by Dan Patrick and the little other cop, he's like, Santa Claus, what's he like? Does he get XM radio with those things? Talk about his ears.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And
so good.
Another thing about that movie, how big are, who was the girl that played Monica in Friends? I'm drawing a blank here. Courtney Cox. How big are her hammers in that first scene? Yeah. I mean, I was like, whoa. I didn't know her hammers.
Talk about a set of nukes.
Yeah.
Those are confirmed missiles.
That's the best I've ever think she looked. Like, if you watch that, fellas, if you go and watch that movie, watch how good she looks in that. I mean, I used to love her in Friends, too, but she never, seemed like she had, a nice set of cans on her. In that movie, she looks unbelievable. Yeah, he steals her Bentley, takes the six-pack, and then gets in the car accident. Then the helicopter's up there. He's like, Vanessa, or whatever her name is, I think we should see other people.
I think we should start seeing other people.
I mean,
sure. Yeah, her jammers in that those are top tier.
Yeah. How do you think Happy Gilmore 2 is going to be? I mean, listen, it's I'm glad he's doing it, just with how much the movie industry's changed, and we don't need to get into what that is all about. But you can't really make them like you're used to. Is where I'm going, Jay Swish. Like, do you think, because Happy Gilmore, the original, is fucking. Obviously, it's in our top 5. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know, Obes, and the way Hollywood's gone, especially, the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, I'm hoping that they can kind of turn the clocks back, and hopefully Adam Sandler has an influence in that and kind of brings back that old school comedy, because we're missing a lot of that, man. A lot of those one-liners, the Wedding Crashers, the Starsky and Hutch, the Sandler movies, like Vince Vaughn. Like, we're missing these type of movies, and I just think that it's time to bring them back, and that humor, I think it's slowly creeping back, so we'll see. Maybe this kicks off that kind of movement, what's old is new again. I don't know.
I hope so. And I saw some Vince Vaughn talking about why they don't make those movies anymore. And basically, he was just saying people, don't want to take that risk anymore. Like, it's not, for him, it's not worth it to take that risk anymore, because all those movies you just talked about, we talked about Wedding Crashers last week. Now we're talking about Sandler. You're talking about Starsky and Hutch and Ben Stiller and some of his early stuff. Those are the movies I grew up on. I know I'm a little bit older than you, but and you too, but those are the movies, like, when you're riding the Iron Lung, you're riding the bus in the minors or in junior in college, you're throwing on movies like that all the fucking time. And, you remember the quotes better than I did, but my one buddy, Shane, the franchise Taylor back home, if he could do numbers like he does, movie quotes, he'd be richer than Jeff Bezos. He's that good. Like, he can remember all of them, and I'm pretty good too, but I gotta be honest, dude. I think you're better than me. I think you can deliver them better than me. That's for fucking sure. You can deliver them better.
Yeah, Obes, you were probably, you're 10 years older than me, so you're probably from 15 to 20 watching those movies, where I was like 10 years old. And thank God I had a beauty dad that would just throw those movies on for us, and we'd sit back in the back of the old Suburban, and we used to have the old school VCR player in there, and we were driving down to Chicago with my brother going to the youth hockey tournaments. All those movies would be in there. I mean, I watched Slapshot when I was 8 years old. I remember watching it. My mom walked in to the scene with Suzanne. Suzanne's a dyke, and she got her tits hanging on it. She's like, well, I guess you're watching it now. So, yeah man, I just, that's what I grew up on, and that's the movies I always go back to. The new school comedy, it's okay, but you can't beat the classics.
No, there's many reasons you're a beauty, but to your parents, I would say one of the reasons you're such a beauty is they let you watch Slapshot at 8 years old. I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Yeah,
Princy, what would be your favorite, real quick, what's your favorite Adam Sandler movie? Kyle, I'm going to ask you, buddy.
Okay, well, I'm going to change it up just a little bit here, because I don't want to just give the same answers. Like, I'm complete agreement here of, like, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. I don't know if we talked about Mr. Deeds a whole lot. I like Deeds.
Yeah, he's my fifth.
A really good one.
Deeds is unreal.
I'm going to take it a completely different way. Now, I'm around the same age as Jay Swish here, too, so I was, 8, 9, 10 years old when all these stuff came out. You guys did say Little Nicky. That one was hard because I think a lot of parents did ban that one. Like, they weren't letting kids watch that one just with, like, the Devil Dad or whatnot.
Yeah, it was weird, right? It was weird.
I'm going to go off the board here. I love Uncut Gems.
Okay.
It's not a comedy, but I love how he's a little bit more dynamic. He's a degenerate gambler. He's probably a better diamond dealer than Larry Flowers is.
For sure he is.
It's just a different look. So I like Uncut Gems, boys.
That movie stressed me the fuck out, Uncut Gems. It was just a lot going on, and I was in the theater. I probably hit the weed pen a couple times. I was just like, what? I knew it wasn't a comedy, Princy, but I didn't know it's pretty hardcore. Shit happens.
It is.
at a quick pace and fights and shit. It's a hardcore movie kind of.
Yeah, it is. It's it's pretty close to. I'm sure it's pretty close to some reality too. Like it's not like a lot of the stuff probably isn't like fabricated.
No, dude, I went up
that. Like that's insane.
Yeah, I went up to Flowers. This is probably a year ago. I went up to his office in downtown LA, and it was kind of like that Uncut Gems. You got to hit the button, the beep, BPN, then you got to hit the other button, the BPN. I'm like, fucking, how many doors I got to go through here to get in this fucking dump? But that's how it is for these guys. They got the 2-3 doors to protect them, all their shit behind glasses. I'm like, this is straight out of Uncut Gems.
Exactly. And it's just a good display of his range.
Yeah.
Just talked about all the comedies. I know he did another Netflix one, a basketball one. I can't quite remember the name on that one. So he's showing his range there. But now he's going back to the comedy, which is a good.
The basketball one, he was an agent for the 76ers Hustle. Yeah. Yeah. That's another great movie. And if you haven't listened to Rogan and Sandler on, it's long. It's 3 fucking hours. I couldn't listen to the whole thing, but I mean, the guy's hilarious. And he talks about like when he's doing a stand-up early on and stuff like that. He's a G. He's an OG Adam Sandler. Kyle, what's your favorite one out of those ones, fella?
I mean, you guys have gone over all the big ones, but I just have an honorable mention for Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Oh. Well, I like Click.
And Zohan, I mean, just 2 classics, 2 just hilarious. So those are my 2 kind of just, throw out.
Yeah, some days I wish I could have that Click remote, actually, just to fast forward through some shit. I like to fast forward through this, boop, then back on the couch watching the, Monday Nighter or Sunday Nighter. But Click is a great movie. And I love Chevy Chase in that, right? No, it's not Chevy Chase. It's
Henry Winkler.
No, who's the guy, Kyle, that has the remote? He's a beauty. He's in Wedding Crashers. Yes, Christopher Walken, who's a legend, Jay Swish.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just Go With It with Jennifer Aniston. I always like that one. I don't know why. A little rom-com kind of.
I like Brooklyn Decker walking out of the water in that one.
Part.
I mean, that's when Brooklyn Decker, to me, first came on the scene, right? I think I knew she was with Roddick or whatever. You may see her at a tennis match. But then she comes walking out of that Hawaiian water in a yellow golden bikini, and I'm like, how are you?
Those are confirmed Maurice Richard Rocket Oaks.
Yeah,
she was looking spicy.
I'm like, those are
100%.
Those are natties. Those there, my friend, those are natties. But
those are stock. Yeah, those are stock.
Jay Swish, great job, fella. Cool little segment, brother. I love what you're bringing to the table here. Before we take our first break and end our intro, some sad news in the hockey news again. I just wanted to give some love to Stephen Pete, a guy that I played a little bit against. He was a little bit older than me, I believe, but it was an absolute killer. One of those old school tough guys, would fight anybody, any time of the week, and made it to the NHL on pure toughness. Obviously wasn't the most skilled guy, but just on grit and toughness, and was a scary dude. So to Stephen Pete and the Pete family, our condolences are to you. The guy was an absolute killer. We will be right back at Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. DraftKings, baby. Presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours, fella. Hey, Jay Swiss, sometimes doing the right thing ain't doing the right thing, right? So I try to get all these stats for the beauties that listen to Missin Curfew, trying to tell you what the smart money's on or what the all money's on. Well, everyone I gave out, I hope the boys faded me, because if you were Vegas, week 2 in the NFL, or DraftKings, if you were DraftKings, week 2 in the NFL is a great, great week. Not one favorite covered. I got absolutely rinsed. I lost the Ravens. I lost the Broncos, which I'm concerned about my over 5.5 wins. I won the Texans 2 ways, and then I had the Eagles -6, and I took the money line, which really bent me over. I mean, run the ball on 3rd and whatever, Jay Swish, run the ball, and Saquon, catch the fucking thing if you're not going to run it. But, dude, week 2, this is why DraftKings exists, baby, because that was just taking it on the chin, as you would say, Swish.
Right across your jaw, Obes. And the one game I gave out, too, I mean, holy shit, did the Rams get fist pumped here in Glendale, too. Kyler Murray, I know, people have high hopes for this guy. He's shown flashes. I think he's a nerd. He just looks like a nerd. One of my favorite quarterbacks. That's a personal problem, right? But he took the screws to Sean McVay and the LA Rams. He came out, 17 for 21, 266, 3 titties. Marvin Harrison Jr. looked crispy. He had 130 yards, 2 TDs. So that game was 41-10, and I think the Rams were +1 in that game. I was thinking, wow, I'm getting points on the road with the Rams. That's a lock. And did they get bent over like a redheaded stepchild? That was tough to watch.
Yeah, they did, and they're so banged up. Their offensive line is just dismantled. Cooper Kupp got hurt in that game. Yep. The receiver from last year, Nayuk, he's hurt. They're just fucking banged up, and Kyler Murray made it rain. I was all state in high school. I'll make it rain out here. But for me, when I watch the Eagles play, I mean, their secondary I forgot their lack of ability to tackle. I mean, these Falcons guys were just breaking tackles. And I mean, that last drive, so whatever, Barkley drops it, they kick the field goal. Within, I don't even, a matter of seconds, they're down inside the 10. I'm like, what just happened? How did that just happen? Like, Kirk Cousins, once again, bends me over. So DraftKings, baby, stay on it, boys. Get back on the horse for week 3. Week 2 was tough. Jay Swish and Princy and Kyle, you can jump in here too about I wanted to ask you guys, we'll start with you, Swish, but the whole Tua thing. Obviously concussions happen. Jay Swish, I'm sure you've had some. I've had some. Everyone's talking about this guy should quit and retire, and I don't know. I don't think like that for some reason. Am I wrong here? What do you think, Swish, from an ex-athlete's point?
Yeah, I mean, I dealt with one that kept me out for almost 6 or 7 months when I was in Switzerland. I tried to keep coming back. I wasn't able to get healthy. I finally was able to get my health, and now I feel good. So, Obes, I just think for people jumping online and jumping to a conclusion so quickly, yes, he's had 3 or 4 of these now, but I just think you got to let the medical experts decide that. You got to let the guy himself decide that. Now, I do think he should probably take some time off. He should be coming back in the next month to play football because of the head trauma he has received. But if he goes and gets healthy, he gets the proper rehab and gets dialed into where he feels really good and ultimately makes a decision with his family that he wants to come back fully knowing the risk of what would happen or what could happen, who are you to say that he shouldn't play again? I mean, and really, this is his career. This is his life. If he wants to make that decision, and number one, he feels 100% at that time and confident in doing so, well, then he's a man and he can make his own decision. So I just think there's a lot of people to come out of the well works to be experts really quickly and make a split-second decision on what Tua should do, when in reality, take your time, unthaw, get healthy, come back, get in the right frame of mind, and then, you know what? Make a decision from there, and either way, it should be up to him and medical experts, not some jackass on Twitter or wherever it is telling him what to do.
Yeah, that's well said. Princy, I'm going to come to you next. I just wanted to tag it with, Sid the Kid, right? Sid had that awful concussion, I believe he got in the Winter Classic. Dave Steckel, I believe, flash from the past. I used to love cross-checking that big fucker. I just knew he would never fight. But anyways, Sid went through it, took the time off, came back, and obviously Sid's still playing, which we're going to get onto. But Princy, as a fan, more of a hockey fan than a football fan, but you saw Sid go through it. From a fan's perspective, what are your thoughts on something like this when you see a guy have 3 big concussions in the course of, I guess, 3 years, basically?
Well, Jay Swish said it perfectly. It's ultimately up to him, and it's ultimately up to medical experts, not experts on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I think you almost have to look at that Crosby route. I don't know if he chose to do it or it was medical advice, but he took some serious time off and was able to come back. So does it make sense to rush the guy back and then he gets another one, or just call it? Just call it and have him sit out for a long period of time. Maybe he sits out a full season. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not for long as your career, because he's a young guy. So I get it, man. Like, I get the fans are like, they don't want to see him like that concussion. What was it last year when his hands got all fucked up like that?
Yeah, that was scary.
Watch. We don't want to see that. And at the end of the day, you don't want to see him 10 years from now, 15 years from now, from when he retires, having to deal with these issues that we're seeing with these guys in the past. So Jay Swish perfectly. I would just have him sit out.
Yeah, and I would say this as an player. I knew what I was signing up for. I knew what I was getting myself into. I wanted it. I wanted to be physical. I wanted to bring it on. So I think if you ask Tua, he knows he's taking a risk. Like you guys said, take some time off. But as an athlete, you know that every time you go on the ice or on the gridiron or wherever it is, you run the risk of something happening, and that's something as athletes that we fucking know and we're okay with. We're living our dream. You're playing in the NFL, you're playing in the NHL. Like, we know that bad shit can happen. So, anyways, Tua, rest up. Kyle, I lost my fantasy fella, and I want to talk to you about Jamar Chase because he's looking like he really could have used that training camp fella. Because what do you have for us? Five points?
Oh, dude, I lost 2 right there with you. And not only that, he looked frustrated out there.
Yeah, I know.
Bad penalties and not running his routes like usual. I mean, it's not. Look, I threw him on my trade bait today.
No way.
I said, boy, well, I have Pacheco broke his leg.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to maybe get a new running back and throw him in a trade.
I got to make a trade too. I got to trade my tight end. I got that Pitts from the Falcons. I'm going to try to trade him to Loops I want to get Rashid Rice. I need another receiver because Who's the young kid, the rookie in Chicago? Came into Washington, Kyle. Adonze. Yeah, he's been struggling. Hey, yo, it's Jay Swish, our boy Caleb Williams. I think he only had one fingernail painted on each hand this week. But I will give that guy credit, dude. He took a beating, Jay Swish. I mean, he didn't play great. He was better, but he took a beating. 7 sacks, I think. And only had one fingernail painted, like I said. But I wanted to give him a little love because I thought he showed some balls for a guy that I didn't think was that tough.
Yeah, he showed a sack there getting up. It's all about popping back up, right? And I think he showed that toughness, maybe a little bit tougher than I even anticipated. So that's a tough league, Obes. You got to be a tough dude to make it in that league. You know that, especially just a gladiator sport. And you know what? I think this kid's got a lot to learn. Obviously, it's not college, but we'll see how he fares. And there's a lot of football to be played.
Yeah, well said. And I would say this, DraftKings, you got us this weekend. We're coming for you next weekend, though. I'm hammering the Jets on Thursday night at home against the Pats. They got their first win. Aaron Rodgers is feeling good. I'm going to hammer the Jets when it comes to Thursday night. But tough week 2. Back to the drawing board when it comes to the bets and fantasy football, which brings us into our Missin Curfew dog of the week. I'm going to start it off here, Jay Swish. Shout out to all the Mexican fighters at UFC 306. I mean, these Mexican fighters have so much pride. Every one of them came in and absolutely stood toe-to-toe and fucking chucked them. The prelims were insane. The main card at the start was great, but the prelims and the early prelims, these Mexican fighters, there was a lot of love in the building, obviously, being Mexican Independence Day. They took advantage of it. So those fighters, you're the Missin Curfew dog of the week. And we got rookie tournament hockey, boys, and we got our first rookie tournament fight. Shout out to Connor Smith of the Ducks and Brandon, how the fuck do I say his name, Princy?
I think it's Hashi.
Brandon Hashi for the San Jose Sharks. Chuck and Duck, sit in the pocket. Dog of the week. Rookie tournaments, Jay Swish, mean fights. I love it. Try to make an impact. Try to make the hockey club. That's how I did it to get in the league. For these two kids, brings a tear to my eye, Jay Swish. We're not done yet. The boys, rookie camp, chucking them. Dog of the week, fella.
You're going in there to a rookie camp, and if you're not a first, second round pick, even if you are, and you got a little grit and sandpaper to your game, don't be scared to throw first, ask questions later. And Obes, I hate to say it, if you see numbers, maybe speed up. That's how you get noticed, fella.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you're going to a rookie camp. I was an 8th rounder, 250th overall. You're trying to make an impression, and that will never change in the game of hockey. I don't care how far we go to trying to take fighting out of the game. I love to see it. I want to say this, Kyle. I thought the white uniforms for the Ducks, fella, I thought they looked pretty good. I haven't seen the orange ones yet, but in that rookie tournament, I thought the white ones looked pretty good.
The white aren't bad. The orange, the only problem I have is the orange pants, the orange gloves. Yeah. Give them an orange helmet. There's just the orange. It's too much. The white, not too bad, but that old logo, I like that.
Look like a pylon out there. I would look like a fucking big pylon out there. 55, pylon.
Oh, yeah. That old logo. Turning like an 18-wheeler back there, fella.
Yeah. But to those boys, congratulations. Everybody at the rookie tournament, good luck. And like me and Jay Swish are saying, try to make a difference. And those two kids did. They're Missin Curfew dog of the week. Jay Swish, Blue Light, fella.
Presented by Labatt Blue Light, the pristine Pilsner. Enjoy your beers together so you can live life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. Straight out of Chippewa Street, baby.
Hey, I'll tell you what. You got a future in voiceovers. And shout out to my boy, Kevin Connolly. One of the best jobs he said he's ever had. And this guy was on Entourage, a hit TV show for 10 years that won Emmys. He was a voiceover for Best Buy. Remember those Best Buy commercials? And he said, oh, it's this thing. You go in this little air-conditioned studio. You do exactly what Jay Swish just did there. And they give you this nice little check. So, Jay Swish, I'm telling you, talk to your agent or talk. Hey, Princy, that voice there, that read-over he's made for this shit, no?
What is it, 93.1 that you're at?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like strip club DJ boys, and I kind of mix in the old school starting lineup for the Chicago Bulls. Like, give me a deal with Bo Peep's nightclub. Like, wings and thighs on Tuesdays. We'll get the girls in there, Mercedes, Carmel. I'll announce them all, and we'll announce the specials. Come on, give me a deal, baby.
She walks and talks and crawls like a tiger. Please welcome to the stage, Cheetah or whatever. But no, yeah, when you do the 93.1?
Yep.
Dude, that stuff's gold when you do that on your social media. I love it. I laugh every time. But listen, I think you got a future. You got a future in a lot of things. But voiceovers, I'll talk to Collins and maybe get his agent on the phone for you, see if we can get you in there. But get this guy in Labatt Blue. Shout out to our boy Brady Kachuk. Training camp's about to open up next week, and he just had his first baby boy, Ryder Keith Kachuk. Obviously giving props to his pops there with the middle name, but Brady, great kid. Big year for the Ottawa Senators. So I will say this, Brady, congratulations, fella, but save those legs now, AJ Swish. You're going to get you going. You had the kid, rest the legs, get out there and save it for opening night. But I'm happy for Brady. He's such a great kid. He's going to be a great father.
How funny was it, Obes, when a guy would have a kid and they'd come in the locker room and everyone would be congrats. And then you'd always have like the dipshits like us. We'd walk around and we'd just say, hey fella, congrats on the sex. Stuffing at home, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, that a boy. How long till you can get back in there, you think? How long are you on the shelf for, fella?
How long are you in the IR there, fella?
But congrats to him. And then I'm going to give a blue light to Dana White. I love Dana White. Everything he does seems to turn to gold with the UFC, and even though I don't watch it, the slap fight or whatever it's called, that seems to be blowing up too. But nobody said he could pull an offensive sphere. He did it. So Dana White, get yourself a blue light. And then last but not least for me, John Rahm wins another 22 bananas, like he needs the money, but $22 million. He won the individual season title. Get yourself a blue light, John Rahm. And dude, Swish, you see the championship ring they gave him? It is dude, it's fire. It looks like basically a Stanley Cup ring. It's all gold. It says Live Tour, Rahm. It's nasty. So to him, get yourself a blue light. And by God, that guy can afford them.
Yeah, 22 sticks. That's what he got for winning that thing.
20.
God, it's like a recreational tour. You just go out there and show up 3 rounds, wear whatever you want. That's a good league there, Ropes. That is a real good
That's
league.
my type of league. And I saw something on social media this morning when I was getting myself going. They're close to a deal, rumor says. But some people, the one they're mad at is Rahm, I guess. A lot of these guys on the PGA Tour want Rahm to have to pay some money back or give some money to a charity. I mean, he signed the ticket. I'm not giving the fucking money back, am I? Why do I got to give him? No. Okay, if he wants to give it to a charity, I think that's great. I think he should make a donation to his favorite charity if that makes this deal come together. But the guy signed the deal, which is making this deal between the PGA and LIV speed up, because once the PGA Tour lost Rahm, they're like, oh boy, who's next? Can't give the money back, Jay Swish.
If John Rahm ultimately decides he wants to donate his sheet or a portion of his sheet, then he can decide. He shouldn't be told what to do. Come on, what is this?
Yeah. By the way, he's probably if it was me, I would have spent a lot of it. Private plane, yacht, 4 houses. I'd be like, hey, listen, boys, that's an IOU. That's as good as money, right? $205,000 for a car. You might want to hang on to that one. And the last one for me, Jay Swish, I don't know if you got some guys to dish some blue lights to, but for me, Keith Jones, Jonesy, friend of the pod. He's been great to Missin Curfew. He hires a guy I used to battle with a lot, Wayne Simmons, and Princy or Kyle. I don't know if you could pull up the job title, but this job title was just like, it seemed like one was just made up for Simmer. Like, hey, you're a good guy. This is your job title. But to Jonesy, way to take care of an ex-player that played his balls off, was a great Philadelphia Flyer. So Simmer and Jonesy, get yourself a blue light.
I love adding guys, Obes, that are glue guys, good guys to organizations to just ultimately add another layer to that brass, right? Now you got another good guy around. You have good people, usually good people. They make good decisions. And now you're really building it from the foundation up, right? So I think Keith Jones made a hell of a play here. Now, whatever that job title is, I don't know if it's
Kyle's got it.
The assistant, regional manager, whatever it is, but
what is it, Kyle?
They gave him the nice little title of Community Relations Ambassador.
Community Relations Ambassador.
There you go.
That one.
Get out in Philadelphia. Go see the people. Shake some hands. Sign some babies, Obes. That's what it's about.
How come the Ducks didn't give me that job? I think that the Ducks should give me that job. They just go around the suites shaking hands. But when I saw that title, Jay Swish, I'm like, I got to put that in the rundown for the boys, because that's Jonesy just making a little room, getting them a little salary and saying, hey, come on in, buddy, just be a good guy. But in all seriousness, Jay Swish, you're 100% right. If you're Keith Jones and Daniel Briere, you want guys surrounding the organization that A, played for the Flyers, B, are good guys, and maybe C, played the right fucking way. And Simmer checks all those boxes. So for Jonesy, I'm laughing about the title, but in all seriousness, I think it's a great hire.
It's a great way to get a guy that played 1,000 games, played the right way, chucked them both ways, is a nail gun, and also was beloved by his teammates. So I just think when you get guys like that in the fold, former players, they can learn how to be, say, maybe he becomes a scout, or he's a part of the player development side, or maybe he gets into management. There's just a lot of different avenues to include these guys. And how many guys have played 1,000 games in the National Hockey League? Not a ton. So they should be invaluable and added to an organization, and especially one he wore on his sleeve.
Yeah, well said. Are you dishing any blue lights out today, fella?
Yeah, I was going to dish one out just because this guy saved this organization not only from bankruptcy, but just from probably an extra $100 million. Is Sidney Crosby signed for 8.7. I mean, that has got to be the best bargain deal still in the National Hockey League, even Sid being a 87 born product. For me, Obes, just the selflessness of this captain, their player, the franchise, the heart and soul. I mean, that's a goddamn steal. Like, that guy at market value, not that he even needs it, but he's a $12 million player all day, top 3 center still. Like, Crosby, like, what a deal they got him on, man.
Yeah, it's just goes to show what type of team guy he is for that. And he's the highest paid player in the history of the NHL ever, right? Like, last year we talked about that. So I just sent him a little text. I got to know him a little bit through Tyson Berry. I used to spend some time out here in Santa Monica, and I would see Sid. I just text him, the rich get richer, and you're a fucking team guy, fella, right? I mean, to him, like you said, he doesn't need it. But hey, he's getting older. He could have been like, listen, this could be my last contract. I want 12 bananas. He said, no, give me the 8-7. Gives Kyle Dubas some room to maneuver. So you're absolutely right. But I'm happy for Sid, and he's the ultimate team guy. It is milk carton time here at Missin Curfew. I'm putting the co-main event and the main event on the milk carton from UFC 306. But more importantly, I'm putting wrestling on the fucking milk carton in UFC. I get it. The wrestlers are the best guys. They get them down. They can't get them back up. But as much as I love Dana White, I think there's reason for concern because I'm a diehard fucking UFC fan. And there's a couple champions you have right now that all they do is wrestle. They don't want to stand and bang. To me, I think it's bad for business. So I'm putting the main event, the co-main event, the milk carton, and overall, Jay Swish, these wrestlers in the UFC, fuck off and throw some punches and stand up and let me get my $79.99. I want to get my money's worth. And watching you dry hump a guy for fucking 25 minutes ain't doing it for me, Swish dog.
No, it was like a late night jiu-jitsu session with a girl you bring back home from the bar. That fight, that was an absolute sleeper. Like you said, it was like stand up, chuck him. I just don't want a couple of guys just getting it on in the ring like that. You're getting dry humped and O'Malley's down. He's like, what the fuck? Like, let's stand up and just throw both ways. I don't know. To me, the gladiator sport of UFC, it's cool because it's all mixed martial arts combined into one, but there's something to be said of guys just throwing right down the pipe on their feet. It's more electric that way, my friend.
I agree. And like, I think it's more, and you mentioned Big Herb Dean at the top of the show with your sick referee tarp on. I get it. Like, but if they're not doing some damage and they're not fucking throwing some elbows and really working them, stand them up. Like, stand them up. I know it's the one guy's job, Jay Swish, that you got to get out of it. Like, if the guy's got control and you can't get out, kudos to him. But this is entertainment. People are spending their hard-earned money. If there's not much going on, get them up and let's fucking bang. Like, it's almost like these guys have gotten so good and so technical that they get these guys down now and they can't get up. Like, that's not where UFC was born. Like, remember Stefan Bonner and Forrest Griffin when the UFC was built? That was just standing in there and going toe-to-toe. The Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Come on, baby. Like, I want some more of that shit, dude. I don't want wrestling around and jock sniffing each other for 25 minutes. So they're on the milk carton. And then last but not least for me, I got to put the Ravens on the milk carton. They were my pick. They were up. God, Jay Swish, I was looking good. They were up 10 or 11. And all of a sudden they lose outright. So the Ravens are on the milk carton. Is there anyone else you want to chuck on there?
Yeah, I just had briefly, I had written down Joe Burrow's blonde, slim, shady haircut, now 0-2. All right, bro, like you come back from the season, you think you're going to be hot shit. I get it. You look good. You've done some stuff with GQ over the summer. I think you were in Paris for Fashion Week. Now, you're getting a lot of residuals from that, but now it's time to be a quarterback, and that blonde hair, it's not working right now. Now, do you double down on it and stay with it? To me, you got to start fresh, change it up, Joey Burrow, go back to Joey Ice, maybe even just buzz it all off, start fresh, and let's fucking get this thing turned around in Cincinnati because right now, that slim shady, it ain't working.
Yeah, I agree. Kyle, what do you got, fella?
Well, I was just going to say, have you guys seen Rupe Hintz and his new cut? Same exact thing, and all the boys in Dallas are calling him Slim Shady now. And who knows? He cut the whole mop off because he had long hair last year.
If we're talking haircuts, have you seen Trevor Zegers' haircut?
Oh, the old Joe Dirte, the old mullet.
My God,
yeah. Not perfect.
The guy's dating a TikTok star, so I guess he knows what he's doing. But when I saw that, I was like, that's just a tough look. But yeah, it is a little Joe Dirt, isn't it?
I want to know what he got to have the blow dryer on that thing because that thing is feathered and lethal. I will give him that. I mean, if you're on a Harley and you got the mud flaps in the wind, now that's probably the only look I would really like that on. But yeah, that's like I said, it's not perfect, though. But what are we to say?
I just want to say something about Trevor Zegers too because I've been hard on this kid over the last. You know what? I hope he proves me wrong, Jay Swish. I really hope he does. I hope he goes out and has an unbelievable season and sticks it right up my you know what and like, Obes, you don't know what you're talking about because The little I've got to know him out here is he is a great kid. I think he brings that flair to the game that we need. I think off the ice he has that it factor to us. But you listen to MJ in The Last Dance talk about all the stuff he got off the court. It's because he was fucking bringing it on the court. And I'm not comparing Trevor Zegras to Michael Jordan here, folks. But I'm just saying, I hope Z-Man, prove me wrong, buddy. I hope you have a big year. The haircut, it's either going to go one of two ways. He's going to be like, I cut my hair because I'm fucking nasty, or he's just going to be a bad player with a bad haircut. But I hope he proves me wrong. And Jay Swish, I'm with you on throwing Joey B on the milk carton. I don't love the old streaky blonde hair. Reminds me of junior hockey back in the day when the boys were heading into playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a rock that you got to come out of the gates hot. And I don't know. I'd just like to see maybe Joey B get back to basics. Maybe you start growing out those luscious curls again that all the women love. So I don't know. I just think Joey B, throw him on the milk carton. I don't love the Slim Shady look. I don't know if it's for you, fella.
Hey, is he single?
I mean,
like, he's not married. I mean, like, I think
paper probably. Yeah, I mean, he's probably got a good bullpen.
You know, I would say his bullpen. Cincinnati's not a perfect city. I played my first 2 years pro there. Had a lot of bad bullpens there, bro. My bullpen was a minor league bullpen, but Joe Burrow.
You're flying them in though. Those are professional tryouts, right? They're coming in for a weekend.
I had no money then. I didn't even know. I didn't even know what the fly-in was till I made the NHL. I think like. I can't mention the guy's name, but a teammate of mine in Tampa was like, I'm like, hey, what's up this weekend, fella? What do you got going on? He's like, oh, I got one coming in from, I'm like, you're flying her in? I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. Now that I'm making some money. I never loved the fly-in, Jay Swish. You want to tell me why? I'll tell you why, fella. I didn't love the fly-in. I didn't love the fly-in because then you're pot committed for the certain amount of days, right? Like the times I did it, I'm like, and it was nothing that the girl did. I'm just like, okay, now, I got her here for another 3 more days. It's like, fuck, I really, I dropped the ball, and I didn't like having to be, I wasn't a huge flying guy, I guess is where I'm going. I got stung a couple times with, she wasn't as cool as I thought she was, and it wasn't going as well, and you still got 3 more days there, and you're trying to play in the National League. It's like, to me, it was a distraction. I just didn't want to bring it into my, life at that time.
How funny is it when the guys have the fly-ins coming? It's like a 3 or 4 day stay and play vacation, I call it. You got the per diem pack set out, you got the ruined board, charcuterie, all the meals are included. I mean, this is the full package, right? You're not putting her in first class, but she's in Delta Comfort.
Yeah.
So you get her in there, and then it's always funny when you're talking to the guy like on day 2 or 3. You're like, holy fuck, this has been a lot. Like, she's cool, but like, now hanging out with her all the time.
She's here
all these activities. We got a 3 and 4 here. So you're making up meetings. Like, I got to go meet my D coach at Starbucks, when really you're just, going over one of the boys' house and kind of just trying to unthaw. You get on the couch for maybe 2 or 3 hours. And you're like, Jesus, I'm just got to go airplane mode right now because I'm burnt out. And I actually got to perform too, not only in the sack, but more importantly on the ice.
Yeah. And then it's the worst. She's, you're like, how long is she here till? It's like, it's Friday. Like, she's here till Tuesday. And then like, she doesn't like you. You don't like her, so you're not even hooking up anymore. You're just kind of stuck with each other. No one likes each other. Like, and like, I often thought, like, why wouldn't she want to be like, I want to leave? I think the times I did it, she wanted to make me suffer right to the bitter end. She's like, I'm not having fun, but you're not having fun either. So to the fellas out there, if you're in the American League and you're close to making the show, or you're junior in college, you get to the National League, tread carefully with the fly-ins. Nowadays with social media, you shouldn't need fly-ins at all. You got so many opportunities out there. This was pre-social media. This is when we were just still asking for phone numbers and, trying to track them down like that, Jay Swiss, the good old days, fella.
Yeah, maybe just put her on a one-way, see how it goes. Maybe just let's get the one-way bird out of here. Maybe boys get the insurance on that bird too, in case you just gotta, it's in and out like a fiddler's elbow.
Definitely get the insurance, that way you can change the flight if you got it, right? Hey, listen, it's not working out. We're gonna, I got you on the Saturday 9 a.m. Milk run. I got you on the milk one, 3 stops to get you home, but
you get the 3-legger Southwest.
Yeah, so we're putting the fly-ins on the milk carton too. But Jay Swish, it's rumor mill time here at Missin Curfew. This is not so much a rumor anymore as I think it's official, and I wanted to talk to you because you played college hockey. Regina Pats forward Braxton Whitehead has verbally committed. Smart guy, went from Regina to Arizona State. Talk about your bullpen getting better. This bullpen's going to be a lot better in Arizona State than it is Regina. But as a guy that played in the NCAA with the old school rules, are you okay with guys coming down here now, playing their CHL career or playing a couple years up there and coming back down? You think it's good for the healthiness of the NCAA hockey?
Yeah, I think so. And the growth of the game, especially with college hockey. And ultimately, I think if these guys coming in from the Western League or the Ontario Hockey League or Quebec Major Junior League, and they are legitimate players and they want to go the NCAA route and they're, contributing, why not? I think it makes the program stronger. I think it gets guys that, maybe shouldn't be playing college hockey. Maybe it bumps them down to club hockey. Now, that's just kind of the system, right? And I think it makes the higher-end programs take a look at some of these players in major, junior, and ultimately, I think it's good for both ways. Like now this kid, say he would have to go play in the East Coast Hockey League, or maybe he was going to go to the University of Saskatchewan. Well, now he's at the wet deck in at the W, coming down to Scottsdale. He's playing in Tempe at ASU, and he gets not only an education that way, a good hockey program, but holy trim. That's the old 3-for-1 right there, my friend.
Oh, I know, dude. I've been, now that USC's in the Big Ten, I've been like talking to my boys about, hey, we need to get USC hockey program. Like, how easy would it be able to recruit to USC too? It's as much like ASU. Hey, boys, you want to play for the Maine Black Bears, or do you want to come out here and play for the Trojans and walk around this campus? Let's go walk around campus and check it out. Like, it would be such an easy sell, Swish.
Yeah, I think USC should get a program. I think UNLV eventually should get a program.
I think, you could do UCLA.
UCLA, and then even like Texas, like grow the game that way. Imagine there was a college hockey team in the SEC. Like that crowd would be insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be crazy, man.
And dude, listen, you talk about club teams, and shout out to our boy Andy Sutton at Verbero Hockey. They do a lot of jerseys for club teams. And you talk about the SEC, there's a lot of club hockey teams at those schools. And these guys, from what I see posted, love it. I don't know how good of players are. I'm not saying they're Division I players, but where I'm going, Swish, is there's an appetite for hockey out there. There's definitely an appetite for it.
Absolutely. You get kids from the North American Hockey League in terms of the NA or Junior B, or even Canadian Junior B or Junior C going down there, and they're selling out barns. And I think there is a way to get some of those SEC schools involved, as well as just grow the game out west here. There's ASU now, like we said. You mentioned USC. Maybe even the University of Arizona, UNLV, especially with Vegas.
UNLV,
there,
UNLV,
the Golden Knights.
UNLV is a great spot. You're 100% right. They need a team 100%. Vegas hockey is just cooking because of the Knights there, and why not UNLV?
Yep, and there's a way to get these, Western League players or major junior players that are quality players to come down and play in the U.S. and ultimately get an education, but play really good hockey at the same time.
Let me ask you this: Do I still have eligibility at NCAA because I never played? Like if I grab the short fork, as Troy G. Ward would say, start running, can I go play at Arizona State at fucking 41 years old and just hunker down, hold the middle of the ice, and hit the wet deck like you said, or am I still eligible or what?
I don't know, because you did play pro, so I think you could come down and maybe play any other sport. Yeah. But so I don't know. We'll find you something. Could you still chuck them, fella? Maybe we'll get you on the old boxing team.
No, I don't.
Right? Get the lefts going.
I got a bad fucking shoulder. I can't even pull my clubs out of my golf bag. Water skiing accident, but.
Well, I think we just register you in one class, and you probably could be, because I played, shout out ACHA Club Hockey in Mizzou, University of Missouri. I played there. We had a Marine who was like 34 years old on our team.
Wow.
He was enrolled in like one class.
What class would I have to enroll in, though? That'd be the tough one for me.
Online walking.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a class at North Dakota. My brother ended up getting a C in it. I was like, fella, how do you get a C in online walking? He's like, well, I forgot to video myself walking. I go, oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. Tough one, eh? Jeez.
Yeah, tough one, eh?
Hey, Jay Swish, I respect your answer, brother, as a guy that played in the NCAA, and I love your vantage point of that. It's better for the league. It makes the league better. It gives these guys an opportunity to come down. So good for you, buddy, and I'm excited to see how many more guys do this. And Braxton Whitehead, when you get to ASU, I'm sure you're going to be to campus. Get your head on a swivel, fellas, Jay Swish would say. Swish, you got some Phil Kessel news for the boys? You got a little Phil Kessel news here?
Well, I mean, Phil Kessel being from Verona, Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, exactly where I'm from, my stomping grounds. I grew up watching this guy my whole life. Always one of my favorite players. I think beloved by his teammates. Obviously, he's kind of gotten a bad rap over his career. And he's won 3 mugs. And he's been a hell of a player, almost 1,000 points. Still skating. I've skated with him this summer. Looks great. He's still got that snapper. I'm telling you, he can still pick apart a goalie. And he's skating really well. I just think, like, how do you not bring a guy like this in on a PTO, where a guy like, we talked about last week, Nikolai Kuhlman gets a professional tryout. How can't Phil Kessel just come in? It doesn't cost you anything to showcase what he can still do, because the fire is still there, and I think it's fucking burning hotter than ever with Phil.
Yeah, after taking the year off, I'm sure it is. And I saw Phil at Richie's wedding, and you're right, he did look good. He still looked like he was in good enough shape to play. I'm going to go one further. I'm going to go right back out here to the Ducks. Ducks hockey, DUX, Ducks like rain. Give the guy a 1 year, $850. What he's going to do is he's going to sell some more fucking season tickets for you too, right? And like you said, he's close to 1,000 points. They're probably not going to give him a 1 year deal, but like you said, give him a PTO. But I think this would be a great fit for him. He'll help sell tickets. He'll drive in some visiting fans too, right? That were fans of Pittsburgh or wherever else he played. Like, I think the Ducks would be a great fit for Phil. And then I could take him to Big Canyon and tee it up with him too, which would be a nice touch.
He can still play on a power play 2 at very least. He could still play on a third line. Obes, if he's playing power play minutes, 13 minutes a night in some quote-unquote sheltered minutes, he's still going to put up 30 to 40 points, and he might even have 50 because he's just that type of player. He has a knack for scoring. He's so smart, and I don't know why he gets a bad rap either. Like, being around everyone, as a veteran he is, around the younger guys, like, he still won 3 times. He still played over 1,000 games in a row. He may not look tough or play tough, but he is tough, man. He's mentally tough, and he always brings it, and he plays through everything. I just think there's a spot for Phil Kessel in the National Hockey League. I just hope, someone gives him at least a PTO, man.
Yeah, I agree. And I've always respected Phil. Played against him, like you said, he had that quick release, and he was faster than he looked. And I know Loops loved him in Toronto, and I got to spend some time with him in the offseason because of Loops. But when I really thought, when Phil really, to me, solidified himself as a team guy is what happened in Vegas, right? Like, he was a great guy. I went in there for the finals, and we go to the practice rink the one day, and he's staying out there, and he's playing 3-on-3 with the boys, and he's having a good time. And, after they won the cup, I talked to Jack Eichel, and I said, how was Phil? He said, unbelievable. Best team guy ever. Joked about, when we came back for Game 5, you better not make me go all the way back for Game 6 and jump on that plane. Like, to me, that proved to him that he's a team guy first. And Jay Swish, you couldn't be more right, fella. Give this guy an opportunity. Still looks like he's in shape and can still put the puck in the back of the net. And I'd like to see him get those 1,000 points that you're talking about.
Yeah, he's like 8 or 7 away or whatever he is. That clip that is hilarious when he got traded to Pittsburgh and he's lined up against JVR. They were a long time, obviously, teammates. I think not roommates, but they were teammates in Toronto, line mates, and they, hung out a decent amount. And Phil's lined up at the faceoff with Pittsburgh, and JVR tells a story. I've seen a couple clips where he kind of whacks Phil on the back of the leg, and he just looks over at JVR. He goes, "Don't forget who made you a player in this league, James." It's just like, that's so sick. Like, he's hilarious, man. Like, why would you want that guy around?
Oh, yeah. I just remember Loops told the story about when Randy took the Pepsi out of the fridge. He's like, Loops, you go fucking tell him right now, I'm not fucking playing unless he puts the Pepsi back in the fucking fridge. You tell Randy, I ain't fucking playing. I won't play. All because Randy took the Pepsi out of the fridge on the boys. And I'm like, out of point.
All time, man. They don't make him like that anymore.
No, I need you to send me his number. I want to get him set up with some DraftKings stuff because he likes to dabble. He likes to dabble.
Yeah, so I'll send you his number.
Yeah, if people are, hey, give Phil a chance, eh? Guy's a veteran guy, good guy. There's not enough of those guys left in the league. Jay Swish, Jäger, iciest shot of the week. Presented by Jägermeister. Best served at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Damn, that's cold. Check Jägermeister out at www.draftkingsxjagermeister.com. Fella, I'm going to have to send you a bottle, and I'm going to have to send you some of this so you can actually do it. But cheers, fella. Here's to you. Appreciate you, Kyle, Morgan, Maxie. Here you go. Damn, that's cold. Hey, I'll tell you what. I used to do a lot of those back in the day, but when they're ice cold like that, not bad fight. Like,
oh man,
like
those with a little Red Bull. Holy shit!
Fucking
talk about getting your hips going.
We're ready for Old Town. A couple Jäger and some Red Bull, and you're ready for fucking Old Town City.
Oh, throw the shit kickers on, and you're twinkle toeing all over the goddamn place.
Boys, we're going back to football here because we still haven't had any preseason hockey, but we're getting there, fellas. We're getting there. Harrison Butker, 51-yard field goal to beat the Bengals on Sunday. I was watching the game. I wish I had the Chiefs. I almost put it on my DraftKings, and I'll just sit back and try to enjoy this one as a fan. But listen, Jay Swiss, there was no doubt. Andy Reid didn't even worry about gaining any more yards. Ran the ball, put it right where he wanted to. Butker came trotting out. Booyah, hike on the tee. Corn dogs, Jackie, right down the pipe. Split it. Damn, that's cold. That's our Jäger iciest shot of the night, Jay Swish.
Right down the pipe, right down the cock, right down the chute. However you draw it up, that's what it was. Now, I saw a friend of the show, I believe, over here at Missin Curfew, John Butchergross, tweeted out, it's time to make the field goal post closer together. And Obi, I wanted your take on this. Is that something that they should consider in terms of the NFL? Because it seems like a 50-yard field goal ain't what it used to be, bro.
Buddy, you just teed me up. I was going right there with you. And Bucci might be onto something because Jay Swish, these guys come out and they rip these 55 to almost 60-yarders, and there's not even, the coach doesn't even hesitate, trots them out there, and these guys just pump them down the middle. It's just another thing of, we're talking about how far the UFC has come and how much better the players are in the NHL nowadays. Now these field goal kickers are athletes. Before, they used to be the guy that would have a smoke, he'd be like, throw the smoke out and then try to put it through like the guy from The Replacements, the English kicker from The Replacements. These guys are athletes. They're weapons. I guess, Bucci, whatever side I am on the bet, do I want it closer or do I want it wider? It depends who I got on DraftKings, baby. But in all seriousness, Jay Swish, I think it's something to consider because these field goal guys now are weapons, bro.
Dude, it just seems like 50 is the new 40. And in terms of how far these guys are kicking it, I think some of these guys could step up, Obes, and they could knock one from 70 on the other side of the 50-yard line, no problem. It's just like they're dropping bombs. It's not the old Sebastian Janikowski. Now, that guy did have a lead leg.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of, but you remember the shape he was in. I mean, he was straight out of a bar stool.
He was round.
6 to 8 beers, maybe a whiskey, and come out and just kick one, right? It's like these guys are actual athletes now. Their legs, wow, it's crazy. So I think Bucci might be onto something here. Maybe the next few years we might see those things just tighten up a little bit, eh?
Yeah, you're right. And that puncher that the Chicago Bears drafted in the 4th round, I watched on Hard Knocks. He's an Australian guy. Guy's a weapon too. I'm talking like he'll kick it 60 yards and shift the whole momentum of the field, or he'll just do it. If he's trying to hem him in, he has this little spin kick, kind of like Pat McAfee style, that hems him in. So yeah, the punters are more athletic. The field goals are more athletic. And I'll tell you what, in fantasy, week 1 and 2, these field goal kickers are getting like 40 points, 35 points, man. They're just ripping these things through. So Bucci might be onto something. It's back up the brakes truck. Beep, beep, beep. Fuck them. The agents are still working the phone, Jay Swish. We've had some contracts. I want to give some love to Columbus Blue Jackets. JVR, James Van Riedijk, 1 year, $900K. Thank you. Thank you. I've been sitting on this podcast for 3 fucking weeks complaining about PTOs. This is a guy that you know can play in the National League, played for the Boston Bruins last year, who were a playoff team. He's great net front. We all know that Columbus is going through some terrible times right now. To bring another veteran guy in there to help out, good for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I hope he over-delivers. Jay Swish, these are the contracts that guys should get. Veteran guys should be getting 1 year, $850, $900, $1 million. They've been in the league a long time. This is a great job for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I'm pumped for JVR.
JVR, 1,000 games. If he plays on the goal line on the power play and he gets his touches, he's a guy that's the shoe in 15, 20 goals easy. I'm going to say 15 is no doubt. 20, he'll probably hit that, no problem either. But yeah, a good veteran guy, a good locker room guy, someone the younger players, again, can learn from. He's been there. He's a winner. He's a respected veteran. And you know, one thing about JVR I used to love about him is he used to rock that gray spray paint on the bottom of his blade. It just looks so crispy. I think he went away from it last year with the Bruins, but I'm hoping he brings back that gray spray because, when he get those mitts going, the feet are not necessarily going too fast, but he gets those mitts going, and he's massaging that bill like a piece of A5 Wagyu. I love his game.
Yeah, and listen, his foot speed has never been like when I played against him even, you were never worried about him burning you wide, but in front of the net, he's as good as anyone at tipping pucks and in tight. And when he came in the league, he had guys like me cross-checking him in the ribs and the side of the fucking, shoulder. Now there's not that. So JVR, get to the blue paint. You're going to get rewarded. In tight, he's got some of the nicest hands. I just remember playing against him in Toronto. He had the green mouth guard. I'm like, fella, what's with the green mouth guard? I can't remember his answer. I think he said it's superstitious or something. I'm like, come on here. We're trying to. That's not good for escrow. That's not that green mouth guard.
We're trying to sell the game.
We're trying to sell the
game. Take that thing out.
You're playing in the hockey hotbed here in the big smoke. Take that fucking green mouth guard and get a nice one with a Maple Leaf logo on it or something. But congrats to him. Columbus, good on you. Reward these veteran guys. Jay Swish, you touched on Crosby. The rich get richer. Lucas Raymond. I'm an old crusty guy, like 8 years, 64 bananas. Jay Swish, you're younger and hipper and cooler than me. Is this a good deal? Did he deserve this deal? Or is this a deal that Stevie Y had to do? Because he did have, he had 31 and 41 last year for 72, but, that's a lot of dough, my man.
Yeah, I just think, Obi, I was talking to a player actually in the league now, an established veteran, good player, and his name's going to go unnamed, but we were just talking about, is this just par for the course now? You come off an ELC, and if you're a decent player that puts up anywhere between 50 and 70 points, is it just 8 times 8 and a hook? I mean, you look at guys like Caulfield, you look at guys like Raymond, you look at Jake Sanderson, they're all good players. Even you look at a guy like Norris in Ottawa, a lot of these guys, Kyrou, Thomas, they're all good, young, promising players, but not all these contracts are going to work out. It seems like a lot of cheddar up front. I mean, listen, we want all these guys to get paid. Like you said, back up the Brinks trucks, but it just seems like 8 times 8 is just the norm coming off an ELC if you're a guy in and around 70 points and 30-odd goals.
Yeah, and that's where I am with it. And listen, I get it. There's a reason he got drafted so high of the Red Wings. They made the playoffs for 25, 30 straight years, whatever it was, something like that. They were in a rebuild, but the time is now. Like I thought them missing the playoffs last year was a real kind of shot to guys like Raymond. I love Dylan Larkin. DeBrinket's a pure sniper. But I'm with you. As an old school guy, you're just guaranteed an 8-year ticket. Here you go. Here's 8 years at 8 bananas. I don't know. It's the way it seems to go. It's good for these kids. And I guess if you're Stevie Yzerman, who knows a lot more about hockey than I will ever know, eventually you're hoping that this is a bargain, right? When you get into the second half of this deal, you're like, wow, we got Raymond for $8 million. He's getting 100 points a year for us, kind of thing.
Yeah, listen, all these guys are dialed into their body more than ever. Their training, their regiments, everything is a way step above even when I left hockey, and especially your era as well, Obes. It's just, you just hope the dog stays hungry, right? When you get paid, you don't want to get fat and happy, and you hope these guys, now it's all about character and still chasing that dangly carrot, even though, every July 1st, if you got a little signing bonus money, you're getting $5 million or whatever it is every July 1, and, you're getting your $8 million a year. Like, that's a lot of guaranteed cheddar. Like I said, good for them, but you got to stay hungry, baby.
Yeah, that's why I never got more than, Colorado gave me a 3-year deal. It's funny, actually. I signed that 3-year deal, and then I saw Ryan Suter early in the year, and he said, how many years did they give you? I said 3. He's like, they gave you 3 years? Like, he couldn't fucking believe it. I'm like, easy, Suitsy. Yeah, they gave me 3 years. But, for me, it was probably good early in my career that I was only on a 1-year deal and maybe a max 2-year deal. Like, if I would have got that, 6-year ticket back then, I might have been like, maybe I won't ride the bike tonight after dinner here. Maybe I'll just sit down on the couch and watch Entourage and, play some NHL hockey or whatever I was doing back then. So, but I'm with you, Jay Swish. I think it's a credit to all these athletes nowadays that Steve Yzerman knows that Raymond's going to be in shape. He's a pro. He's going to come to camp. He's not worried about, him being a disaster. So you can get away with these deals. However, I think some of these guys should have to earn it a little bit more. But it is what it is. We want everyone to get paid. Jay Swish, we had some more, fella. We're going to save it for Thursday because me and you, we just keep her going here. But I appreciate you, buddy. I'll tune in with you Thursday, my man. What do you got? What do you got tonight, fella? What's up tonight?
Tape to tape with you as always, Obi. Spicy tuna, crispy rice, Nobu special. But me, I'm going to go get a workout in here. I'm going to dial that in. I got a couple different things for butter golf, and that'll be kind of a night. I got to dial some things in that way, and then it's right back on the saddle, baby. So
I love it, buddy. You always seem like you're working out. That's why you're looking so lean. Eh? You're always working out, playing tennis, doing something, huh? I like that.
I sent you guys I was sending a video to my dad and my brother of me ripping out the hunters on the bench. I sent it to the Missin Curfew.
That was funny.
Holy fuck. Good thing that was just that,
Yeah.
Who knows?
You said this to me, we were talking about my birthday, and I got the video. I was like, oh, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, Jay Swish, you had the hundreds out for the dumbbell bench press, which, is impressive, dude, because I think I was throwing hundreds around when I was playing in the league. You're still throwing them around.
Yeah, I mean, in my building, they only got 100. So if they got 120s, I'll throw those bad boys up too, fella.
Wow.
All day, baby. Yeah.
Jay Swish, I appreciate you, fella. Princy, thank you. Kyle Morgan, Max Pickup, Hall Pass Media, thank you, guys. That was Missin Curfew, fella.